Hello dear students, welcome for the lecture series on geography. In previous episode, we discussed about water cycle, clouds and precipitation. Now we can concentrate on air and air pollution. The earth is surrounded by a blanket of air made up of various gases called the atmosphere. The atmosphere helps to protect the earth and allow life to exist. Without it, we would be burned by the intense heat of the sun during the day or frozen by the very low temperatures at night. So, in today's session, we are going to discuss how our atmosphere is getting polluted under the topic atmospheric pollution. The topic can be studied under the following subheadings: atmospheric pollution and pollutants, process of atmospheric pollution, major air pollutants and their sources, harmful effects of air pollution, prevention and control of air pollution. Let us start with the definition of atmospheric pollution and pollutants. One of the formal definitions of air pollution is the presence in the atmosphere of one or more contaminants in such quality and for such duration as is injurious or tends to be injurious to human health or welfare, animal or plant life. It is the contamination of air by the discharge of harmful substances. Modernization and progress have made the air getting more and more polluted over the years. Industries, vehicles, increase in the population and urbanization are some of the major factors responsible for their pollution. The following industries are among those that emit a great deal of pollutants into the air. They are thermal power plants, cement, steel, refineries, petrochemicals and mines. Air pollution results from a variety of causes, not all of which are within human control. Dust storms in desert areas and smoke from forest fires and grass fires contribute to chemical and particulate pollution of the air. The source of pollution may be in one country, but the impact of pollution may be felt elsewhere. Probably the most important natural source of air pollution is volcanic activity, which at times pours great amounts of ash and toxic fumes into the atmosphere. Things that pollute the air are called pollutants. Examples of pollutants include nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxides, hydrocarbons, sulfur oxides, sand or dust particles, and organic compounds that can evaporate and enter the atmosphere. There are two types of pollutants: primary pollutants and secondary pollutants. Pollutants that are pumped into our atmosphere and directly pollute the air are called primary pollutants. Primary pollutant examples include carbon monoxide from car exhaust and sulfur dioxide from the combustion of coal. Further, pollution can arise if primary pollutants in the atmosphere undergo chemical reaction. The resulting compounds are called secondary pollutants. Photochemical smog is an example of secondary pollutant. When pollutants in the air mix up in a chemical reaction, they form an even more dangerous chemical. Many forms of atmospheric pollution affect human health and the entire environment at different levels. These contaminants are emitted from diverse sources and some of them react together to form new compounds in the air. Industrialized nations have made important progress towards controlling some pollutants in recent decades, but air quality is much worse in many developing countries and global circulation patterns can transport some types of pollution rapidly around the world. Now, let us discuss the process of atmospheric pollution. Air pollution can form in various ways. Chemicals are emitted during many different activities. In atmosphere, these chemicals can react with other chemicals to form dangerous substances. Air pollutants often have properties that are harmful to the environment. The weather plays an important role in the formation and disappearance of air pollution. This is mainly influenced by wind and temperatures. Air pollutants can be transported by wind, causing widespread of pollution. Rain can remove pollutants from air, causing soil and water pollution. Sunlight can aid the conversion of air pollutants to different substances. Chemicals can come from various sources and are formed during different processes. Air pollution can be divided in the categories according to the sources it is derived. Biological air pollution such as pollens, small insects and microorganisms. Physical air pollution such as sound, smell, thermal pollution and radioactive radiations. Chemical air pollution such as ozone, aerosols and ammonia. Air pollution is caused by both human and natural sources. Human sources are traffic, agriculture or industry. Natural sources are dust storms, volcanic eruptions and emissions from plants. Air pollution undergoes a number of processes. First one is emission, that is, release of contaminants into the air. Chemicals are emitted to the atmosphere by a range of sources. Anthropogenic emissions come from human activities such as burning fossil fuel. Biogenic emissions are produced by natural functions of biological organisms such as microbial breakdown of organic materials. Emissions can also come from non-living natural sources, most notably volcanic eruption and desert dust. Next is transport, that is, transport of contaminants to different locations through air. Winds can carry pollutants far from their sources so that emissions in one region cause environmental impacts in another region. Coming to exchange, that means compounds react with other compounds in air to become more dangerous substances. Coming to distribution and emission. In this step, the contaminants are well distributed in air and are maintained to be settling in certain area for some time. Next is deposition, that is, deposition of contaminants in any certain area on the soil or on objects. Materials in the atmosphere return to Earth either because they are directly absorbed or taken up in a chemical reaction, or because they are scavenged from the atmosphere and carried to Earth by rain, snow or fog. Air pollution trends are strongly affected by atmospheric conditions such as temperature, pressure and humidity, and by global circulation patterns. For examples, winds carry some pollutants far from their sources across national boundaries and even across the oceans. Coming to major air pollutants and their sources. Air pollution is a real public health and environmental problem that can lead to global warming, acid rain and deterioration of the ozone layer. Some of the major atmospheric pollutants are ozone. Ozone is a gas that can be found in two places. Near the ground, that is in the troposphere, it is a major part of smog. The harmful ozone in the lower atmosphere should not be confused with a protective layer of ozone in the upper atmosphere, that is in stratosphere, which screens out harmful ultraviolet rays. Ozone is not created directly but is formed when nitrogen oxides and volatile organic compounds mix in sunlight. That is why ozone is mostly found in the summer. Nitrogen oxides come from burning gasoline, coal or other fossil fuels. There are many types of volatile organic compounds and they come from sources ranging from factories to trees. Ozone near the ground can cause a number of health problems. Ozone can lead to more frequent asthma attacks in people who have asthma and can cause sore throats, coughs and breathing difficulty. It may even lead to premature death. Ozone can also hurt plants and crops. Next pollutant is carbon monoxide. It's a gas that comes from the burning of fossil fuels, mostly in cars. It cannot be seen or smelled. Carbon monoxide is released when engines burn fossil fuels. Emissions are higher when engines are not turned properly and when fuel is not completely burnt. Furnaces and heaters in the home can emit high concentration of carbon monoxide too if they are not properly maintained. Carbon monoxide makes it hard for body parts to get the oxygen they need to run correctly. Exposure to carbon monoxide makes people feel dizzy and tired and gives them headaches. Coming to nitrogen dioxide. Nitrogen dioxide is a reddish brown gas that comes from the burning of fossil fuels. It has a strong smell at high levels. Nitrogen dioxide mostly comes from power plants and cars. Nitrogen dioxide is formed in two ways: when nitrogen in the fuel is burned or when nitrogen in the air reacts with oxygen at very high temperatures. Nitrogen dioxide can also react in the atmosphere to form ozone, acid rain and particles. People who are exposed to nitrogen dioxide for a long time have a higher chance of getting respiratory infections. Nitrogen dioxide reacts in the atmosphere to form acid rain, which can harm plants and also animals. Next pollutant is particulate matter. These are solid or liquid matter that is suspended in the air. To remain in the air, particles usually must be less than 0.1 mm in wide. Particulate matter can be divided into two types. They are coarse particles and fine particles. Coarse particles are formed from sources like road dust, sea spray and construction. Fine particles are formed when fuel is burned in automobiles and power plants. Particulate matter that is small enough can enter the lungs and cause health problems. Some of these problems include more frequent asthma attacks, respiratory problems and premature death. Next is sulfur dioxide. It is a corrosive gas that cannot be seen or smelled at low levels but can have a rotten egg smell at high levels. Sulfur dioxide mostly comes from the burning of coal or oil in power plants. Like nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide reacts in the atmosphere to form acid rain and particles. Sulfur dioxide exposure can affect people who have asthma and eczema by making it more difficult for them to breathe. Coming to toxic air pollutants. Toxic air pollutants are large number of chemicals that are known or suspected to cause cancer. Some important pollutants in this category include arsenic, asbestos, benzene and dioxin. Each toxic air pollutant comes from a slightly different sources, but many are created in chemical plants and are emitted when fossil fuels are burned. Some toxic air pollutants like asbestos and formaldehyde can be found in building material and can lead to indoor air problems. Many toxic air pollutants can also enter the food and water supplies. Toxic air pollutants can cause cancer. Some toxic air pollutant can also cause birth defects. Other effects depend on the pollutant but can include skin and eye irritation and breathing problems. Next is stratospheric ozone depleters. These are the chemicals that can destroy the ozone in the stratosphere. These chemicals include chlorofluorocarbons, halogens and other compounds that include chlorine or bromine. Chlorofluorocarbons are used in air conditioners and refrigerators. They can also be found in arsenal cans and fire extinguishers. If the ozone in the stratosphere is destroyed, people are exposed to more radiation from the sun. This can lead to skin cancer and eye problems. Higher ultraviolet radiation can also harm plants and animals. Next pollutant is greenhouse gases. Gases that stay in the air for a long time and warm up the planet by trapping sunlight. This is called the greenhouse effect because the gases acts like glass in the greenhouse. Some of the important greenhouse gases are carbon dioxide, methane and nitrous oxide. The greenhouse effect can lead to changes in the climate of the planet. Some of these changes might include more temperature extremes, higher sea levels, changes in forest composition and damage to land near the coast. Human health might be affected by diseases that are related to temperature or by damage to land and water. Now, we shall move on to the harmful effects of air pollution. Air pollution affects respiratory system, causing breathing difficulties and diseases such as bronchitis, asthma, lung cancer, tuberculosis and pneumonia. Air pollution affects the central nervous system, causing carbon monoxide poisoning. Carbon monoxide has more affinity for hemoglobin than oxygen and thus forms a stable compound carboxyhemoglobin, which is poisonous and causes suffocation and death. Air pollution from certain metals, pesticides and fungicides causes serious ailments. Lead pollution causes anemia, brain damage, convulsions and death. Certain metals cause problems in kidney, liver, circulatory system and nervous systems. Fungicides cause nervous damage and death. Some air pollutants harm plants and animals directly. Other pollutants harm the habitat, food or water that plants and animals need to survive. Acid rain. When acidic air pollutants combine with water droplets in clouds, the water becomes acidic. When those droplets fall to the ground, the acid rain can damage the environment. Damage due to acid rain kills trees and harms animals, fish and other wildlife. When acid rain soaks into the ground, it can make the soil an unfit habitat for any living things. It causes damage to croplands, trees, buildings, monuments, statues and metal structures and also makes the soil acidic. The thinning of ozone layer. Air pollutants called chlorofluorocarbons have destroyed parts of the ozone layer. The ozone layer, located in stratosphere layer of Earth's atmosphere, shields our planet from the sun's ultraviolet radiation. The areas of thin ozone are called ozone holes. Ultraviolet radiation causes skin cancer and damages plants and wildlife. Tropospheric ozone. Ozone molecules wind up near the Earth's surface as a part of their pollution. Ozone molecules near the ground damages lung tissues of animals and prevent plant respiration by blocking the openings in leaves where respiration occurs. Without respiration, a plant is not able to be photosynthesized at a high rate, and so it will not be able to grow. Depletion of ozone layer causes skin cancer, damage to eye and immune system. Coming to global warming. Our planet is currently warming much more rapidly than expected because additional greenhouse gases are being released into the atmosphere from air pollution. When fuels are burned, some of the pollutants released are greenhouse gases. Through the process of photosynthesis, plants convert carbon dioxide into oxygen and use the carbon to grow larger. However, the amount of carbon dioxide released by burning fuels is much more than plants can convert. Global warming is causing changes in the places where plants and animal lives around the world. For example, near the poles, ice and frozen grounds are melting. This causes changes in the habitat and resources for plants and animals living there. Ocean warming, rising in sea levels, runoff and coral diseases are causing changes in shallow marine environments such as coral reefs. Global warming is causing less rain to fall in the middle of continents. This makes these areas very dry and limits water resources for plants and animals. There are numerous ways to control atmospheric pollution. So, we can move on to the prevention and control of air pollution. Different techniques are used for controlling air pollution caused by gaseous pollutants and that caused by particulate pollutants. The air pollution caused by gaseous pollutants like hydrocarbons, sulfur dioxide, ammonia, carbon monoxide can be controlled by using three different methods. They are combustion, absorption and adsorption. Combustion. This technique is applied when the pollutants are organic gases or vapors. The organic air pollutants are subjected to flame combustion or catalytic combustion when they are converted to less harmful product carbon dioxide and a harmless product water. Absorption. In this method, the polluted air containing gaseous pollutants is passed through a scrubber containing a suitable liquid absorbent. The liquid absorbs the harmful gaseous pollutants present in the air. Next is adsorption. In this method, the polluted air is passed through porous solid adsorbents kept in suitable containers. The gaseous pollutants are adsorbed at the surface of the porous solid and clean air passes through. The best methods of air pollution control often depends on the individual or industry using them, but in most cases they focus both on reducing pollution at its source and minimizing the overall effects on environment. Factories and other industrial complexes that emit a lot of toxins into the air sometimes find that using active carbon can be an effective way to filter air before it is released into the atmosphere, and biofiltration, a process that uses natural bacteria and fungi to reduce emissions, often works in a similar way. Activated carbon is one of the easiest ways to control air pollution, involves air filtration, and one of the most widely available filters works with the use of activated carbon. The carbon acts as an adsorbent, essentially trapping all pollutants within specific molecular weight range. The air that does escape is usually a lot cleaner. It may not be free of all pollutants, but it is usually much improved and is generally safer to breathe. Biofiltration. Biofiltration, a method of fighting air pollution with existing microorganisms and bacteria, often works really well in these and related situations. This type of air pollution control system uses bacteria and fungi to dissolve pollutants organically. The organisms consume the chemicals and toxins that contribute to pollution, and in many cases the smells that go along with them, converting things on a molecular level to carbon dioxide and hydrogen gas. Next is targeting car emissions. Car engine emissions are responsible for a large portion of air pollution in most places. Hydrocarbons that are produced when gasoline burns escape into the environment and can deplete the Earth's fragile ozone layer, among other things. One of the easiest ways of manufacturers to make a difference in pollution output is to change the way engines process and diesel exhaust. A catalytic oxidizer placed inside of car exhaust can go a long way towards reducing emissions. Finally, coming to conclusion. Other planets have sunlight, but the Earth is the only planet that has air and water. Without air and water, the Earth would be unable to sustain life. A diverse community of plant and animal life has thrived on this planet for millions of years, sustained by the sun and supported by the soil, water and air. But the humans are destroying the atmosphere by their activities. It is clear that we have numerous ways of controlling air pollution. The only thing required is to use it in appropriate form. So students, hope you all enjoyed the session. Thank you for watching this episode. Hope we will meet in next session. Until then, take care. Thank you.